Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we received a hotfix for the 1.4.2 beta patch, and it addressed some problems that were introduced with the beta patch originally being released. Before we get into the video, I have a script. Like always, it's going to be on the screen. It's also going to be in the description if you guys want to read along or come back to it later. It will all be down there. I also have a video talking about the 1.4.2 beta patch and also the hotfix that we received a day after the beta patch went live. Both of those video links will also be down in the description for you guys to check out if you guys missed it. Also, the link to this hotfix will also be in the description if you guys want to read it straight from what the developers said. And yeah, so let's get straight into the changes. So the first change, Chink in the armor, show strength, and generous rations perks were causing troop prices to go negative. This was fixed. So here's pretty much what the I'm gonna explain what each one of them does and how they were fixed, right? So each perk belonged to a certain Vigor skill. So I'm gonna go in the game right now. We're gonna go to characters. Vigor skills are these right here: one-handed, two-handed, and pole arm. And let's list them off. So Chink in the armor is a one-handed perk that you get at level 250. If we go to one-handed, we go to level 250 right over here. And as you can see, it pretty much gives your one-handed melee attacks. They ignore 10% of enemy armor. And also the recruitment cost of infantry troops is reduced by 20%. So next one we have is Show of Strength. And this is a two-handed perk. You get a level 75 right over here, and this increases the knockdown chance by two-handed weapons by 30%, and infantry troops are 20% cheaper to recruit, which is the same thing as the one-handed perk, Chink in the armor. They both do 20% reduction when it comes to infantry troop recruitment. And then we have generous rations, which is a polearm perk that you get at level 200 right over here, and troops in your formation gain 5 hit points, 5 HP, which is actually crazy if you think about it. And it also reduces recruitment cost of infantry troops by 30%. So this one actually is 30%, while Show of Strength and Chink in the armor are both 20%. I don't know if these stack, but I think they do stack. So you can get all the way up to, what is it, 70% off, which is actually crazy. But yeah, so initially this was causing some troops, I'm guessing like recruits and stuff of that matter, to go into the negative and I guess give you gold back, right? But now it is fixed, so now it won't go into the negative. But the good thing is, yeah, so it's good that it was fixed, but this also has me excited for future skills to be reworked. I think they are going to implement similar perk benefits in bow and in riding that pretty much make the recruitment cost of archers and horsemen cheaper. I'm really ready for that one because I love archers and I love horsemen, so hopefully they get those perks, you know, reworked. I'm pretty sure bow's going to be the next one in line because they pretty much have been reworking skills in order. So they reworked one-handed in one patch, then two-handed in another one. Recently in the 1.4.2 beta, they reworked polearm. And I'm pretty sure the next big beta patch, they're going to rework bow. So yeah, very excited to see what comes next. But overall, it's a good change. Obviously, it was a problem, and it was addressed. Next change we have is they fixed a problem with players becoming stuck in the defection persuasion conversation. Which sometimes happened when you try to leave a kingdom. So like whenever you did try to leave a kingdom, it would sometimes just make you stuck on the map and you couldn't move after that decision, or you would get stuck on the screen. Overall, it's a good fix. No complaints from me. Nothing else to really add. Good fixes are always welcome. Next we have is fixed a crash that occurred when needs help with looter quest ended. So I personally don't do many quests, but like I just stated, crash fixes and you know, fixes of that nature are always good to see. Next we have fixed a problem that made the game automatically choose kingdom decisions like voting for things, pretty much if the player is a mercenary of a kingdom. So if you the player are a mercenary of a kingdom, the game would automatically just choose things for you when it came to decisions that you have to make, like voting for something or things of that nature, right? So I think this is a great change. I did notice this in my games. It wasn't the end of the world, to be honest with you, but it's still a good fix that, it's still a very good fix to happen. Next, we have combat tips and raise the Meek perks were finally fixed. So let me explain. So combat tips and raise the Meeks are both leadership perks. If you go right over here, as you can see, both of them are level 25 and you can only pick one. So combat tips used to give XP to higher level units, and raise the Meeks used to give XP to lower level units. The XP gain was all messed up though. Pretty much it resorted to some troops in your party gaining huge amounts of XP and some units receiving barely anything. It wasn't very balanced. It went off some random factors that, people really didn't understand why it did that, right? It was just really random. But pretty much here's how the devs have changed it now. So combat tips will now give 1 XP bonus per day to every single troop in your party. And then raise the Meeks will give 2 bonus XP to each troop per day that is either tier 1, 2, or 3, which are low level troops, right? So I think this is a great change. It makes sense and is a good choice to make early on, really. Pretty much, do you want all your troops to gain XP but at a lower rate, or do you want your lower level troops to pretty much level up a lot faster and get into those higher ranks? One thing I would improve though with this change is actually making raise the Meeks give you plus 3 XP to lower level troops, because if you do choose raise the Meeks instead of combat tips, once your troops reach pretty much past level 3 or past tier 3, they won't gain any more passive XP. So to make raise the Meeks worth it, I think they should have made it plus 3 XP in my opinion, because right now I'm always going to choose combat tips, because why wouldn't you? You gain 1 XP for every single troop regardless. So I think the overall gain that combat tips gives you is way better than the 2 bonus XP that raise the Meeks gives to lower level troops, if that makes sense. Next, we have our final change. So the final change was the fix to pretty much it fixed and balanced overall prices for food and other items. So almost everything in the game in terms of items were rising in price ever since 1.4.2 came out. It just kept rising, like pretty much like inflation, And at one point, the lowest cost of grain you could find on the whole map was 25 dinars a piece, which was pretty insane, because it used to be about, the cheapest one you could usually find is about 7 dinars in some villages, right? But this is now fixed and it should be back to normal, so that is also a great change to see. That is pretty much all the changes for this hotfix. Let me know in the comments what you think of the changes and also other concerns that you may have. I know there's a lot of problems in 1.4.2, trust me. I'm with you guys. But I do want to end it off like I end off most of my hotfix videos, is I do want to thank the developers for staying active and bringing good changes. And let me explain. It's an early access game, so please do not expect the beta branch of the game to be stable. It's a beta branch that's meant for playtesting and reporting. If you do want to play in a more stable environment, what I would suggest is play on a stable live patch of the game. And if you don't know how to do this, I do have a video on pretty much how to revert to a stable patch, to make the game less glitchy and less, pretty much have less problems in general. So the link to that will be down below. And one last thing that I did want to add, as I was reading the balance changes on their forum, somebody made a very good point in one of the replies to someone being very angry with some of the changes. Pretty much what this person stated, and I do agree with them, is they pretty much said it like this: don't bash them for balancing what the majority of people were complaining about. They're working on feedback while trying to work on a ton of other systems and reaction towards those systems, right? And I couldn't agree more. So you have to understand, this game has a lot of systems in place, and when they make certain changes, certain things break and certain things change in ways that people, can't really see beforehand, right? So this is kind of what I'm saying. If you do not want an unstable environment, right? If you want to have a more stable environment, go to a stable patch, because the beta patch will be very unstable. There's going to be changes, and there's going to be things that happen because of those changes. So just, you know, be wary of that fact. You know, it's part of playtesting. It's a part of the process, right? So yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm not going to rant too much about it. But that's pretty much all I have to say on the topic. But yeah, like always, leave any questions, all of that in the description. I mean, not in the description, in the comments, and I'll make sure to get back to you guys. And hopefully you found this informative. And like always, stay safe.